Well, hello and welcome. Good evening, everybody, on tonight's call. It is my pleasure to introduce you to those beautiful two men I have here to my left and right, Mr. Bill Rowell, CEO of Utopian Global, and Mr. Ryan Messer, CEO of STORH. And I welcome, of course, all the audience from all over the world. We have literally covered all continents, I believe, what I see here on the list. So it's really fantastic to see that. So people from the US, Canada, from Latin America, Africa, Asia, really everywhere, Australia. Wow, you guys are early up in the morning there, New Zealand. Great to have you here. And Asia, of course, where you celebrate your new year. So it's fantastic for you all to be here. My name is Claudia Eifert, and I'm just going to host this webinar tonight. And of course, we have to say also hello to all our YouTubers. We can't forget them, and our Facebook lives. So Instagram lives, I hear they do it fantastic. So just a quick overview before I introduce the two gentlemen here to my left and to my right about the company. Is it a company, Utopian Global, we're going to talk today about. We're going to talk about, of course, Utopian Global and what is in store for you. So STORH is our asset-backed token. We're going to talk about, this is why we have Ryan Messer on the call, but we're going to talk about the ecosystem, the wealth storehouse of Utopian Global. And the company is based in Dubai, in the UAE, as you see here. And the company was founded, obviously, by Bill Rowell, who's going to tell a little bit the story, how it got to, how he actually came up with the idea to start this company like almost 11 years ago, because we are now in February. In March, 11 years ago, this is when I started. This is when, of course, we started with the company. So it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Bill Rowell. Bill, can you hear me? He's on board now.
Miss Claudia Eifert, great to be on the call, and great to have different people joining us from all over the world. But yeah, let me give you a bit of a history there. In fact, it was co-founded in 2008. I wasn't by Pat Malone. I co-founded it with a man by the name of Philip Judge. Now, many people may be familiar with Philip's name. He's a bullion banker for 30 years. And he's the one that introduced me to the world of precious metals back in 2003. And also, I'll tell the story a bit later on regarding, he also introduced us to the CEO of STORH, Ryan Messer. But we're based in Dubai, but we originated in Switzerland. In fact, I founded the Swiss company back in 2008, and that's available in the commercial register for anyone to have a look at. You can search that. So we are the real deal. And I'm a licensed precious metal dealer at the DMCC in Dubai as well. In fact, our office in Dubai overlooks the water that you see there in these particular pictures. So we have a long journey of 11. This is our 11th year in dealing with it. You can go through those slides a bit quicker if you like, Claudia, because I think I'm out of synergy here with your slides. But let me just touch on a bit of the story. This is really the important part, I think, how it all started. Primarily, I've been an entrepreneur since 1986. I started off only buying my first hotel business with my brother. I had 4 over 20 years, and in 2004 I sold the last one. But I was also introduced to the world of multi-level marketing in the early 1990s, and it really was a revelation in one sense that I grasped the whole concept of time leverage, compounding your time. When you compound your time, you compound your income. When you're trading your time for money, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, you're capping your income. So once I was introduced to this concept, I just fell in love with it. I got it straight away. And in 2003, I met, 2003, 2004, I met Philip Judge, the bullion banker in Zurich, Switzerland. And of course, I was looking at investing some money after I sold my last hotel. And he introduced me to the world of precious metals, and he also introduced me to an energy fund at that particular time, which he was the CEO and operations manager of an energy fund at that time. I invested a 7-figure sum into that particular energy fund, and I flew to America to do due diligence because it's a large amount of money. And that's where I met Mr. Ryan Messer and his team, actually. And I was really impressed with the people. I mean, that to me is the absolute key thing. When you're investing in companies, you're investing in people. And here I am after all these years, still best mates, or still best friends, I should say, with Ryan. And so I saw the assets, I saw the team that he was engaged with, and I was involved with the energy fund for many, many years until I eventually liquidated out of that. And I know that Claudia, maybe 2007, a few years later, she got engaged with the energy fund as well. It was paying about 20% per annum at that time when we got engaged. It was fantastic, solid assets, generating solid incomes, managed by a fantastic team. To fast forward, of course, Swiss Gold Global, it was founded with the whole concept. You saw Joseph Well Systems. That's based on the principle of Philip Judge. In fact, we started this concept, Philip and I, back in 2006. We started thinking of the concept. Philip, there being a precious metals dealer, and he contacted me and said, can we distribute gold and silver? In fact, his words were, can we issue gold, the money of kings, to ordinary people through multi-level marketing? And I said, Philip, absolutely. Multi-level marketing is really just a fantastic high-integrity distribution system. It's just a distribution model, nothing more than that. If people like you, they're going to buy products and services from you. If they don't like you, they're going to be very negative towards you and only buy from you once. So that's how we started the whole concept. And of course, Philip had to go his own way, running the energy fund and the gold fund. And of course, I took over Swiss Gold Global in the operation. All our gold is actually produced at Argor Horizon in Switzerland. The word on that last slide was relationships. It's all about the right relationships. Here I am again with Ryan Messer after all these years. It's probably 13, 14 years since we first met. And we also got introduced to the cryptocurrency mining sector, which was one of the hottest trends, of course, from 2015, 16, 17. Then the market changed in 2018, but we were a strategic partner with the services of Genesis Mining. And in fact, we had such a good relationship with them, we were going to do a joint venture with them and build our own mining farm. We started these negotiations at the end of 2017, 2018. Ryan Messer, because he has an IT background as well, he also has a degree in finance, so he's a smart guy. And one of my keys to success has always been to surround myself with smarter people than myself. So I've always modeled that particular thing. But he flew into Munich and spent time with me, with the team at Genesis. But they decided, and we decided that it may be not the time to build another mining farm in 2018. The whole market and scenario had changed. But of course, we learned a lot from this. We learned a lot about the blockchain, about the utility of the blockchain. And of course, Ryan being involved with real tangible assets, which is really what wealth is generated from, I must say, not from just conceptual ideas. Because he's actually involved with real tangible assets that generate income, we mutually came up with a concept. Why don't we form a concept and we put real hard assets onto the blockchain? And that's really how STORH was born. And Utopian Global, for our strategic partnership with Ryan and his team at STORH, are the marketing agents in one sense for the STORH token, which of course creates opportunities, creates cash flow for all our members out there. That's our primary focus, is to help you generate short-term income through the affiliate program and long-term residual income through these hard assets like this natural gas just pumping 24/7. And when I went there, I'll just finish up quickly here, Claudia. When I first went there in 2004, I'd never been involved with the energy sector, okay? But when I went there and saw it, it was just really a no-brainer. Every time I went to the petrol pump, it cost me money. So the realization came to me, how about if you position yourself on the supply side? How smart would that be? I really thought I was quite intelligent, realizing this concept, which is pretty logical, isn't it, in one sense? It was a no-brainer. So I invested in these particular assets of Ryan, and of course, it wasn't just the exploration and the extraction of the oil and gas. There's also even further diversification in what they call midstream, or the transportation of these condensates, etc., and the mixing. But Ryan will speak about that. Higher margins, diversity of businesses, generating cash flow. And that is the fantastic thing. What I also love about the whole concept with Ryan and the opportunity where we are in today's world, population is growing. Demand for energy is absolutely increasing. We have renewable energies, which is very exciting on the front and expanding on an annual basis, but many of them are not income producing yet. So this is what I love about Ryan I'm a pretty logical sort of investor. I'm no Einstein. You've got money coming in, you've got money coming out. As long as there's more coming in than going out, you're going to stay profitable. That's my simplicity of business, to be quite honest, and I've been around for a long time. So this is why Ryan supports very much a balance between the legacy assets, the oil and the gas, and natural gas is like 60% cleaner than, let's say, the fossil fuel oil. But it's also predicted it's going to be helping supply over probably 30 to 40% of the demand over the next 30 to 40 years. So natural gas is not going to go away. It's a very important asset to be engaged with, and where he is and where he's tapping into with the assets that we're looking at, there's abundance of it. So this is why I'm very excited about the STORH concept, and of course partnering up with Ryan and the team. So that's pretty much a summary from me.
Well, thank you so much, Bill. This was a good summary, a great summary, and I believe that people really can feel your heart and your mission, which we are really on, and that's really what it is about. It's a mission. It's a vision, of course, first, and it's a mission to really stay on course and stay on track. And of course, this is where we enter in this huge market. It's actually the biggest market in the world of any other markets, which is the energy sector. And so it's really my pleasure to introduce you to Ryan Messer today. For all you listeners who have never listened to him, so please really don't do other stuff now. Really don't get sidetracked. Listen to Ryan, because he has the knowledge, he has the experience, and you have here one chance. That's one chance you would never get anywhere else. Why? Well, because what we are presenting you here, this is just not normally presented to you. This is normally just presented to the very wealthy, to the club, to basically those 2% of the world's population, and it's not a very normal thing that it's been introduced to the common people in one sense. So Ryan, it's my pleasure to have you here for a very short time. I know you need to go to the next call, but thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me. It's always exciting, and yeah, I mean, I can feel the passion, and we've always had this connection over this business ever since we met. And I think it's just fortuitous how things have aligned over the last 12 to 18 months and where we're at now as compared to when we initially came up with this concept. So thanks for having me on. It's always exciting, and what we're building here is truly groundbreaking in a lot of ways. But in a lot of ways, it's going back to what you were talking about. These are foundational needs-based assets, right? This is driven by pure, supply and demand and global economics. So what we're building here is not, is not a blue sky investment. Although, we are looking at some sort of safer near-term results, but also looking for high growth as well. So, yep, happy to. Yeah.
Maybe you want to explain just quickly. I mean, I know, of course, the term blue sky, but some people don't know the term blue sky. Maybe you want to just explain that for the listener, what it means actually.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll use another word, speculative, right? Some sort of technology that's not proven, or some asset that's not proven. Everything that we will go to market with and that we will apply capital towards, all of these projects have an execution strategy and are proven in their own industry or their own field. So we don't invest in things that have a low probability of success. We invest in projects and technologies that have been proven in other areas, but that we can exploit in a particular niche market, or just like our Peru project is a perfect example. We'll touch on that in a minute. But again, this was a great slide because it shows you really just I guess a visual representation of what would be our go-to-market or our strategy here, in that we're building a foundation of existing producing assets that have been around for decades and that have decades of productive life left in them. So, and that is around oil, natural gas. You spoke about natural gas and what we think about its future, because unlike oil, historically, natural gas has had its transportation challenges, correct? So the only way to get natural gas to market historically has been through pipelines and other ways. But of course, we've spent billions of dollars here over the last few years in the US specifically to be able to export natural gas by liquefying it and bringing it to other markets. So there's a huge opportunity in the US for that, more longer term. So that'll essentially be the foundation for the company. And then looking at what Bill mentioned earlier, how do we take advantage of other pieces of the market as we look down the value chain? So what happens to that crude after we produce it and sell it to our marketer. Well, I've been in the marketing business. Randall Eddington, who's our director of midstream, has been in the sector for over 10 years. And so we'll take advantage of that supply chain by taking those crude oils and different gravities and blending them together to make what we call a pipeline or refinery spec barrel that is more valuable. And so that's more margin for us that we can put in our pocket. And so we know that business very, very well. Not only that, but we can provide other services around the business, or what we call the legacy energy business, which will also be a part of that sort of midterm strategy. And then we move into sustainable tech and mineral recovery. There's a big movement towards sustainable technology as it relates to services. And if you read our white paper, you'll get a sense of one of the opportunities that we're looking at that supports the energy industry in the United States. And we think it's going to be the model for the globe, really, because water is going to be a big issue in terms of sourcing it, where does it come from, and drinking water and water rights. And so when you read about that, put that in, go in that frame of mind when you go in there and read it. It also solves other issues, environmental issues, which are, of course, on the forefront of everyone's mind. And it's becoming the mindset of, 2 decades ago when I got into this business, it was hugely polarized, right? You had the traditional oil and gas guys, which I came in the sector being one, and then you had the environmental guys. Well, that bridge, or that gap is being bridged slowly over time, because we're all becoming more conscious about the environment, and we truly have ways to augment and be a part of and be good stewards of our environment as we continue to extract oil and gas, because it's a very necessary commodity, but are also looking at ways and realizing that technology is really the way in the future that we're going to be able to generate energy. Of course, it'll take time. Oil will be produced long after we're all dead, but those technologies are becoming more efficient today. And so we've got some projects that are around that. So not only is STORH an energy resource company, it's also a mineral resource company as well. And one of the projects that I think fits perfectly in that niche, where, and it kind of plays into our entire purpose, right, which is around the environment and thinking and forward thinking, is applying technology towards old problems, and not only build a business around that with high growth and high return potentials, but also, again, thinking about the environment and the people and the impact that we have in people's lives in those particular areas. And I think if you were to ask anybody who lived around Cerro de Pasco, they could tell you a pretty terrible story about the past that place has seen in terms of what big companies have gone in and done. And we've got a way to go in and not only remediate and create that land reclamation, which is highly necessary to reduce the amount of pollution and things in the freshwater, but also build a business in high return and high growth that is obviously, backing our token. So hopefully that gives you a sense and a flavor of what we've done. And this is will be essentially our value proposition framework for the next 12 months. So how do we go from our token value today to where we want to be, which is around €4 per token when we list on the exchange 12 months from now. So this is just kind of a very simple representation of that. But I think by the time we complete our funding rounds, the valuation of the company should be well over 100 million, and we'll receive our dollar per token estimated valuation. Post completion of that, we're going to go into a full public global offering, kind of like a traditional ICO, but obviously this is equity or security backed, to get more global adoption and exposure before we go and then list on a public exchange. And that'll give everyone the opportunity to not only, everyone understands that we're going to be sending out dividends, and that's one way to receive a return on your investment, but also be able to monetize a portion or all of or none of your tokens on a publicly open exchange. So.
And just on that point, Ryan, if I may bite in here a little bit. We're talking euros, of course, here, but this is not new, what you're speaking about here to you. I remember in the early 2000s, you did exactly that. You took a private placement company and you took it public. It was very successful. Primarily, this is following the same sort of path. But what's really important, so I remember back all those years ago, the timing when to go public is really critical. You've got to give enough time to accumulate the assets and generate the incomes before you pull the trigger to go public. And then, as you're about to touch on, I think, Ryan, there's a twofold win to the owners or the investors at that particular time. You're just not getting the return on the dividend. You're also, of course, having the upside in the pricing of in those days it was a stock. We're talking, of course, now about the equity token here. So it's very exciting in that sense.
No, it is, and I think the timing is great. I mean, everyone's seen what happened over the last sort of 24 months in the ICO space, and we've had, thankfully, the benefit of hindsight, having this project sort of take so long to get to market, because now we're actually seeing the major shift from the traditional ICO theoretical project-backed tokens to becoming more institutionalized. You see big companies, big institutions, big firms in the space, and now moving towards, and you're hearing everything about security and equity-backed tokens. So I think we're at the right time, at the right place, essentially, having been delayed as much as we have. But I think that's worked in our favor, to be quite honest.
Actually, you know what? It's really great that you mention all those things, and I would just make a comment. We have actually Shirley on the call here. She's from Down Under, and she's actually saying, well, she really can just highly recommend it because she had an amazing experience. Her parents actually had or owned shares of your fund, which you had with Philip Judge together. So,
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, hi Shirley. In fact, when we were in Brisbane, when was it, Claudia? Was it last? I lost track of time with Keithy.
August,
leader there. August, was it? She actually joined us at the meeting. Now she was there. There was a number of people who have been associated with us for over 10 years, and to hear someone come out, even to turn up, and after knowing someone for 10 years, it says a bit about the relationship of business. But secondly, of course, to hear that the older generation, Shirley's is the next generation, I know she's got grandchildren herself, that she benefited from that particular fund is great, and we want to do exactly the same here. In fact, this is generational wealth. This is truly what generational wealth is. I know Keithy's on the call from Australia as well. Hi, Keithy and the team down there. He was at Houston, and he actually interviewed, of course, the geologist Pete, who you've known for many years, Ryan, talking about this particular asset because he's engaged in it as well, saying that royalties have been paying out to about each month they pay out nearly 800 or 900 royalties to families who are heirs. Some of these families are heirs to the original founders of these wells, dating back to the 1930s. And of course, we know that the reserves the audited bankable audits there show that the reserves are going to be there for the next 20, 25 years. I mean, that is generational wealth. That you can pass something down to the next generation, and you wake up in the morning and you've got payment in your account. That's building wealth. This is really what this is really about. I mean, I know a lot of people speak about generational wealth. This is the perfect example of it, actually.
Yeah, I think, and Claudia touched on this before, this is an opportunity that's typically not available to the retail market. So if we didn't buy this interest, if Pete wasn't such a good friend and him and I didn't do a lot of business together, I mean, he was a consultant for us back in the public company days. And so I've been tracking this asset since 2007, waiting for some of the sellers to release some of their interest. And in fact, everyone who's staying in the project is increasing their interest. And if I told you some of the people that were involved, it's pretty impressive. But they're all industry guys, and if we weren't able to take this interest down, and one of the here over the next few weeks, it would go to kind of an institutional buyer. It would go to somebody within the industry. So if it wasn't for kind of relationships, you just don't hear about these kind of opportunities. And so this is just one example of really every asset that we've got that we're looking to put underneath under the STORH token.
Fantastic. Well, Ryan, again, thank you so much for having you on the call. I know you got to head off to your next meeting there, so meeting investors, obviously, and meeting people. Yeah. So thank you so much for being on the call. Really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you on our next call. This will be from Dubai on Saturday, I think. We will be in the office in Dubai, so thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good to see you. Talk soon. All the best.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's go ahead for you guys. Of course, want to read the white paper, well, you should certainly do that. There's some really great information in there. The white paper is out in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and on Friday in Korean language. So we have 4 languages of white paper out, pretty amazing. So you can download that. Understand, in the United States, we can unfortunately not sell the STORH token as yet. So please be aware of that. And let's go into, how can you own STORH? Obviously, becoming a customer or becoming a affiliate. We are the affiliate marketing arm, so to speak, for STORH. So what's happening when a customer or affiliate buys? Well, the company STORH buys those assets which you see here. These assets then obviously produce a return. That return will be paid out in form of dividends to the token holders every 3 months. The first payout is approximately in April, which is fantastic. How do you buy STORH? Well, become a customer. Go to anybody who referred you to this webinar today, to this presentation, and please go to their website and register, complete your KYC. You must be KYC approved, otherwise you cannot buy any products from Utopian Global. You can also buy gold or silver, obviously we have that as well, but you must be KYC compliant, meaning you have to upload your passport, your ID or your driver license, and then you can buy literally STORH from as little as €50. You can get engaged in a legacy asset, such as, of course, a STORH represents there in the different ways. So you get, as a customer, a limited special discount until end of February. There will be a discount, of course, going forward also in March, April, and so on. But right now we have the highest discount ever. This is never going to be that price again, because this is, as Ryan mentioned it very well, this is like in a pre-sale, this is in a pre-IPO. So you basically are going to benefit that. A customer right now buys in for 40 cents per token. That's the customer price. The affiliate has a little bit of more of an advantage. So basically what you have as a customer here, you have the different, as an affiliate, you have the different packages from €99 on up to 3,500 package. And you see here the 99 and 170, you buy your STORH token for 33 cents at the moment till end of February. And for members and above, you buy your token for 25 cents. That's why it says here 25% more STORH tokens are included in that package. So they're included in there. Why? Because from 390 on, you actually have a lesser price for the token, 25 cents per token, instead of here those two where you pay 33 cents per token. So it's already included here. And when you become an affiliate, your monthly membership subscription is €50. In that €50, you're going to get STORH tokens. But of course, right now we're on the pre-sale round. If you purchase your membership, you're going to get, of course, most tokens ever available. And we have people, they literally buy their membership up to, we had some buying up to 5, 7, even 10 years ahead. Why? Well, obviously they can see they can never get access to this amount, to this cheap price. I mean, we have Shirley on the call here, and she has been involved into Phillips and Ryan's energy fund, where I invested, where Bill invested in 2003. So, and her parents invested. Well, they didn't do that for no reason, right? For the United States, people, just quickly, well, in the United States, you do have the same packages, but they will all be replaced by gold and silver, because we cannot sell the STORH token in the United States. So how can you buy your STORH? Well, you can buy it through Bitcoin, through bank wire, or very soon coming up to €99 by Visa and MasterCard. It's going to be very soon up there, but it's not yet there, but it's up there. I already put it because it will be very soon there, and it's 3D secure. That means you're going to get a PIN and you're going to verify that. That's basically what we have. So contact the person that invited you to this presentation. Again, there's sort of a sense of urgency, because as you heard Brian talking, so we're right now in an amazing phase of a pre-sale, and of course we're really looking to acquire that asset, that first how would you say it, the foundational asset, and that foundational asset which is already paying since 80 years people. So we are looking to acquire as much as we can from that asset. Why? Well, because it's going to pay us for generations to come. And obviously, what better idea than having money coming in for generations where you don't really have to worry. And so we do also have a compensation plan, obviously. So for the people who are interested to learn about that, again, please contact the person who invited you to this presentation, ask them about the compensation plan, ask them how they can actually benefit from marketing our products and services, yeah, get them to help you started. And with that, basically, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you, Bill, for being here. Thank you, Ryan, again, who already left. Thank you for all your listeners, YouTube, Facebook, everybody around the world. And have a fantastic Tuesday evening. And see you next time from Dubai. Thank you, Bill. You want to say some last words?
Yeah, sure. I want to thank Shirley for reaching out there. Very nice. Thanks to everyone in Australia. It's early morning there for joining the call. And everywhere else in the world, we'll be in Dubai. And I know we're then heading to Kenya, Claudia. So anyone has contacts in Nairobi, get them connected to us. We'll be able to meet them. Then we'll be back in Dubai. And from there, I'm not too sure. I know I'm going to head back down under again. And a disclaimer, I mean, yes, you do. You know, we believe this is a low risk, but nothing is guaranteed. Okay, nothing is guaranteed. There's always some risk with something. So use your common sense. Be smart. Don't let the greed factor make unreasonable steps or decisions in one sense. Well, we're not financial consultants. We're very experienced in business. I've been running businesses since 1986. And of course, Ryan there's a disclaimer there. Ryan has also been running businesses for a couple of decades as well, and proven successful concepts. So I just wanted to share that with people. So we designed this whole package in one sense, so it is a low risk entry. There's no reason for anyone to really put themselves into any financial strife of what we're doing here. And in fact, if you're smart, like many of the people on this call, you become an affiliate and you get your store for free. As you share, you generate your commissions, and you can turn that into store tokens, or you can turn those commissions into Swiss certified pure gold and silver, or we can pay it directly into your account. So I just wanted to touch on that, Claudia.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you everybody for listening to this presentation. And I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic evening. Thank you. Bye.